Recording.
Awesome. Welcome everyone. First, I'm gonna do a meeting called to order at 6:37. Today is September 5th, 2024. This is the first housing meeting of the season. We're gonna go around the room and introduce ourselves. I'll go first. My name is Rich Reynoso, acting chair of housing. I'll go to my right.
Juanita Ranzel.
Robert Press.
Luan Jones.
Cynthia Rodriguez, Community Board Chair.
Okay. We have a few folks out. If they pop in, they'll introduce themselves. Let's go down the list of the agenda. We just did introductions. So this next agenda item is community chair elections. Not sure if everyone saw or is aware, Hazel Mura stepped down effective immediately yesterday as chair of housing. I'm co-chair, so that's why I introduced myself as acting chair. Not sure if we have enough for quorum, but we do?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, I mean, maybe we could table this to the end of the meeting in terms of the election. The other things we're going to discuss, I think, in my opinion, are going to be updates. Nothing to really vote on, unless we think otherwise. What do you guys think?
Okay.
Yep. Okay. No objection? Cool. All right. So review of meeting minutes. I'll connect with Jeremy and Hazel regarding what is outstanding and try to get as much posted as possible in the next month, 30 days. But for today's purposes, I'll be taking minutes for today's meeting. Moving forward, let's develop a system where we can rotate, if not designate a secretary, at least once a quarter, just divide up the burden. It's not fun taking minutes, I know that, but we have to get it done. So that's that on minutes. I'll take this. Yeah. Any questions or comments? Maybe none. All right. Next important topic is the City of Yes housing opportunity. Not sure if folks are aware, but this did pass at City Council. And obviously our district voted yes with caveats, I believe. And
just we voted no.
we voted no with caveats.
No.
Just straight no?
Plain no, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's the one I'm thinking about. So with this district council voted no. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, City Council voted unanimously yes to this.
I don't think they voted yet on it.
No, City Council.
For president.
Yeah, I could have sworn I saw City Council voted for it. But I guess I'll verify after the post.
Yeah, they voted on.
Oh, okay. So we need to, we have a document in place. I wish I could. Jeremy, could you post something online for me quickly? I'll send it to your email.
So, what's that? You want me to post something online?
Yeah. I'll send it to you right now. Let's see.
Okay.
No, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
So what I have here, what I'm going to try to get through is the Bronx Borough President's recommendation of City of Yes for housing opportunity. So 12 pages, but it's just giving Vanessa Gibson's okay to the City of Yes housing opportunity and why she voted the way she did. We'll send it around to everyone on the committee and then send it around to the board in general. Once Jeremy gets it, we can kind of just overview it. But again, we voted no.
Is it a
voted yes.
link or is it an attachment?
It should be a PDF.
It's a what's that?
It should be a PDF attachment.
Okay.
Yes, I just sent it. Yeah. So yeah, as I was saying, Vanessa voted yes. We'll verify what's the next course of action We voted the way we felt at the time to ensure what we could for the community. But sometimes, as we all know, we're just a recommending body. Any question, comments? Wow, Jeremy gets this up.
Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt.
Please do, Ted. Whenever you want to, you can interrupt. You're a guest of honor always.
The city council has approved the Metro North area rezonings. It has not voted on City of ES housing opportunity.
Okay. Do you know when this is going to city council?
It's got a while to go yet.
How long is a while, do you think?
Sometime in the next few months.
Okay. Okay, it's good to know because we're going to get asked updates from our constituents. So we want to be clear as to what we're saying yes to and no to. So regarding the Metro North, which is just as important for housing, can you give us a mini update on what was exactly approved?
Well, that was approved. There were some changes made from the original proposal. I think there were some specific areas that maybe the zoning wasn't increased as much as was originally thought. There was also there's a letter from a deputy mayor that commits the city to looking into doing a number of other things. You can get, I'm sure, from the council, your council member,
Okay.
I suspect was very involved in this. So the general framework, was what was approved, but with some of these sort of conditions and changes.
Okay. Yeah, I know our council person voted for us. So, I mean, yeah, so we'll reach out to her and get something from her in terms of next steps or what exactly was the text that was voted. We could find this as well, but I mean, it's good to reach out to our electeds. Thank you, Ted.
Yeah, it still hasn't come through yet.
All right. I mean, I think it is what it is. If we can find it, we'll pop it up, but we will send this out after the meeting. So we can, have questions and read it. It's 12 pages. We're not going to go through all of it today, I don't think. Okay. Before we move on, any other comments or questions regarding the City of Yes housing opportunity? Okay. Not yet. A gallery session. You can ask. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to gallery session. I'll do the room first inside here, and then we'll move on to online. So I don't think we have a. Did anyone register, Jeremy, for online or here in person?
I'll double check, but lately, no, nobody's been registering. I think I
Okay.
checked last yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
The document did come through.
Okay.
I'm wondering if it's available online. Because that'd be the easier thing is just opening that link.
I sent it to you via text. I don't know if you got it.
I got Rich's. So
Oh, okay.
you sent a link or
It's like I think it's a link to
yeah, the easiest thing to do? Well, I can pull it up, but Rich, do you want to, are there specific sections?
I just want to see. No, just an overview so folks can see what
Hold
the
on.
document looked like. We can spend a couple minutes on it.
Oops.
Nothing
Wow.
crazy.
Let me find. They've changed the formatting of WebEx. Hold on, I got it.
Okay.
There you go. Can you see that?
Yes.
yes.
So yeah, it is online. The link you sent me is the same link I was able to Google, Cynthia.
Okay. Perfect.
And I'll post that in the chat too.
Yeah.
Email it out.
And we can have it for the record. And you can move down slowly, and then we'll just read it kind of,
Well, actually, you know what? How about this? Hold on. I'm going to post in the chat. I'm going to stop
Okay.
sharing, and then can you try to click on it and open it?
Yep, for sure.
That way you don't have to constantly say, hey,
Yeah.
okay, hold on. That way whoever's in the chat could. See if you can open that. You see that?
Yes.
All right, yeah, it looks like you gotta download it.
Thank you. All right. Okay. So, she approved with modifications, conditions. We're not gonna go through the whole document, read the headlines, and then we'll send this around, like I said. Signed July 8th.
So hold
No.
on, Brett, you have it
Yep.
up on your screen?
Yeah, I have it.
So you want to share it for those who are online?
No, the one right above, right?
Right
over.
No,
No,
right,
right-
over.
Yeah, all caps, it's all in
Oh,
caps.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you. All right, thank you guys. So pursuant to the matter, with some background to what the Adams administration is trying to propose, install. I'll read these bullet points, they're minuscule. The citywide apartment vacancy is 1.41%, the lowest it's been since 1968. In the Bronx, the vacancy rate is even lower at 0.82%. Citywide, approximately 50% of renters are rent burdened, paying more than 30% of their income on housing. Over 60% of Bronx renters are rent burdened. As of December 2023, the number of homeless New Yorkers living in the shelter was 92,879. Of those, 33,399, 36% were children below the age of 18. I think with those points, this is the intro as to why the proposal was created. For some background, we don't know. And then moves on to the public hearings that took place. There were numerous ones. We took part in a bunch. We had some here in the office and online. And then it goes to the recommendation. I think I could read this. New York City is experiencing a housing crisis, and how to resolve this crisis is one of the main topics of this proposal. While certain areas of the Bronx and the city as a whole have seen record increases in density and growth since the 1961 zoning regulations came into effect, other neighborhoods have seen minimal to no new housing development. Many of the areas that are currently identified as lower density districts were zoned that way based on the existing context of 1961, and the zoning did not always have the foresight to anticipate the necessary growth for the future needs of the city. DCP's proposal to add a little more housing in every neighborhood is attempting to address that disparity. These proposed zoning changes would add housing in areas of the city that haven't seen any growth in decades, while also continuing to add units in higher density areas. Adding more development potential across neighborhoods will result in a more balanced distribution of new and diverse housing types. So I'll leave it there. I mean, after that, she gets into more reasoning behind her decision. And then they talk about the specific zoning themselves. And again, we'll send this around so folks can study and we can discuss it more at the full board meeting if need be. But that pitch of needing more housing is what folks are discussing and why they're, I think, moving forward with the City of Yes housing proposal. So yeah. I think I'll leave it there. Does anyone have any comments, questions, feelings about that statement from Vanessa?
Yeah, I did highlight just a couple of things
Yeah.
that stood out to me. She does mention, supporting additional density, but the importance of addressing infrastructure challenges, maintaining the vibe of the particular neighborhoods, the importance of current building and property owners maintaining the current housing stock in a decent state so that there isn't as great a need for housing.
Yeah.
So, when I read it, I felt like she listened to what people were saying, throughout the process. So I thought it was a decent summary, it reflected well.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, guys? Well, I agree. I mean, I think obviously it's a tough decision for electeds. You know, I think for them to be on the record and say no to housing, it's DOA dead on arrival for sort of a re-election kind of moving forward, and they have to do as much as they can to get housing re-energized in the city. You know, so I completely understand, and I appreciate that she did have the caveats like you mentioned. Any other comments online as well?
Good evening, it's Kate Cardona. I forgot to register. I always do this. I forgot to register for the gallery
Welcome back.
session. Thank you.
Yep.
Welcome back, guys. Couple of things. Housing
Let
has
me-
been Can
It's
you
all
hear
right.
me? Can you hear me? I'm sorry, because I had to use my headphones.
No, you're
Um,
good.
Oh, good. Okay.
I'm gonna start now.
So, couple of things. I've been doing anti-gentrification and housing things since 1979. I'm a member of the Met Council on Housing. I'm one of the Bronx tenants, as they call it. I'm also a member of Housing Justice for All, and I do not agree with this. The last year we were able to get something passed where the bigger owners, the company, the corporate owners have to register the regulated apartments that are empty. That's a big thing because now we can track those apartments. If they are not registered, they get fined. All right, big deal, try and find these guys to find them. The biggest issues we have with housing, and it's way more than 92,000 homeless people, trust me, I know, is the warehouse. The fact that people are desperately trying to hang on to the units that they have so they don't become homeless. Next is the fact that a lot of times, especially the bigger owners, the corporations, they warehouse apartments because they don't want to renovate. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars to renovate each unit. I understand, everyone understands, but it's a business. You have to invest money to make money in a business. So there are many, many. There's about, if you look at the city overall, there are about 8,000 empty units that could be used right now. And they're just not being utilized because they're being Frankensteined, warehoused, call it what you want. So
30
this,
seconds. Okay. Go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about the time frame. But,
It's okay.
just to let our borough president and other people know, and I've had conversations with Hazel, because I've been doing stuff with her on and off for 31 years. There is a shortage, yes, but to do this constant building of stuff that's not affordable, so-called affordable housing, and this little bit more housing, it's not going to create the competition that they think it's going to create.
Thank you, Kay.
Thank you.
Anyone else for the gallery session in-house here, live? Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I did. First of all,
You have 2 minutes. I'll let you know. Okay, I'll give you 30-second warning. Go.
my name is Alexis Garcia. I live here. I'm a resident of Morris Park. I wanted to just make sure that like some statistics, some research has been done behind making more affordable housing or not affordable housing, just housing in general. And also how does creating more housing affect our security in terms of, having more police presence or, just security in general. And as well as the rent prices, how they might be impacted by having more housing available. Those are my 3 points.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Acting Chair, to go a little beyond that, there's a new building opening up on Allerton Avenue. Do we know what the rents are in there and what the size of the apartments are?
Which location? The one at Boston Road?
No, the old supermarket.
No. The Fine Fair?
No, the old D'Alessio's Met Food, Superfood.
Oh, I think next to the car wash?
No, it's the corner property that had the parking lot.
You know the address?
That was built as right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we don't have any
No, I know that, but do we know if it's gonna be affordable or not?
It's as of right, they can ask whatever they want.
Remember, if they use city financing, then you can influence
Yeah.
the cost of the housing. They can go. to
Correct.
bond. If they
That
build
goes
as
through,
of right, right. Then they
Housing Connect, yes, a certain amount of units, yes.
Okay, yeah, so if it doesn't go through Housing Connect.
Yeah, but even then, borough president complained, in her old council district, it was through Housing Connect, $3,000 for studio. That's not affordable.
I mean, I don't want to put Ted on the spot. I've had this conversation with Ted at least
Mhm.
5 times. I mean, and so Ted, just I don't want to put you on the spot or anything like that, but what's your philosophy behind AMI sometimes? Let's say we're having a Housing Connect building in not our district, let's call it in the South Bronx by St. Mary's Park. What's your thinking sometimes? Not to say I'm not putting you on the record in terms of this is what you do exactly, but what's your philosophy?
Well, no, what we do is, and then first, let me say first, that new building on Allerton, I think it's Allerton and Barnes or
Yeah.
on the street. So that's not using HPD financing. It might be using a tax incentive program, which will mean that some of the apartments will have to go through Housing Connect and will be, well, affordable. But for most of them, it's market rate. And so we don't know, we don't know what those rents are. I'd like to know myself what they are. But what we do, for any building that does come to us for financing, or even the city-owned buildings that we do, we decide, in general, in the Bronx, the range of income eligibility and therefore rents is roughly from 30% of the AMI to about 80% of the AMI. And then it's the distribution within that range that differs. A location that might be a little more marketable might have somewhat more units at the 60% level or the 80% level. A location that's probably less marketable would have most of its units at like the 30% to 50%. But basically that's what we look at. And then, all the buildings that we finance, there are appraisals that are done as what comparable rents are in the area. And that comes up sometimes. It might be, there might be some disagreement about what the comparables are. But a lot of the buildings, one of the things I've mentioned in the past, that there's a whole bunch of new buildings that were built or are being built in the part of your district between Bronx Park East and White Plains Road, between Pelham Parkway North and Allerton. None of those are using financing from HPD. So
Really?
Those are all market rate.
Yeah. We both knew that
I
a year ago.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ted. That's very helpful.
But, there's one more problem. The AMI goes up into the richer areas of Westchester County and not just the Bronx. That's the problem.
Yeah, I've heard the controversy between the AMIs and how they're mapped out sometimes. Yeah. All right, cool, thanks. Anybody else for gallery? No? Okay, quick question. Go for it, Malcolm. Yes, you can.
Could Ted answer how the city of Yes influences property owners to use the HPD's financing? Like, would it encourage developers to use financing? It was more friendly to them.
Ted, we need you for a second again.
Okay.
Malcolm, that's
Yeah, sure. Does the city of Yes zoning proposals, like, does it encourage the developers or influence them more to use the HPD's financing to give the city more leverage on, the rent?
I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing. I'm sorry.
Some closer.
it's good.
Does the city of Yes zoning proposals, does it encourage the developers to use the HPD financing in any type of way? Or to influence them to?
No, I wouldn't say that it does, because you can, the provisions of it apply to any new development, any new construction.
So it doesn't?
Ted, just to confirm, you said no, right?
Right, it's, for example, there's one, you know, there are all those different components of the city of Yes that you guys saw. So there's one, for example, that's called UAP, that will allow a bonus, a small bonus of the floor area you can build, if it's affordable, if you make those units affordable. But, and again, it doesn't have to be all financed through an HPD program. We prefer it. I always prefer that developers use our programs, because then not only do we guarantee that all the units are affordable, but the project gets reviewed by our architects, you know, by our finance people. So I always prefer that developers use our programs. Unfortunately, they always don't, or don't always.
What is the definition of affordable under UAP?
I didn't hear the last part.
What is the definition of affordable under the UAP?
Well, affordable in general is considered for people to pay no more than 30% of their income for rent. And so within that range that I talked about before, the AMI of 30% to 80%, within that, then people would pay 30% of their income. And under the UAP, if I remember correctly, I think the average of so when you use the UAP to increase the floor area that you can build, you know, so let's say, for example, roughly, let's say you were going to do a 8-story building, and with UAP you can do a 10-story building. That may not be exactly right, but it's something like that. Those additional units have to be, on average, no more than 80% of AMI.
Thank you.
Any other folks for the gallery session? Going once. Yeah, go ahead.
I just have a question regarding, I don't know if this is the time to ask, but the popular men's shelter that's being built.
Yes.
Is that affected by yes, proposal
I don't
in any way?
think so. I think it's apples and oranges, right? Jeremy, if you can hear me. Is he not? Okay. Well, we had a walkthrough for a shelter.
Did you call me?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about quickly the walkthrough we did with the shelter over the summer?
Sure. So so Rich and I were there. This is Blondell Avenue homeless shelter, the first one that was cited for our district. I don't remember the exact address. It's around the 1300 block of Blondell. It's right next to Blondell Commons, which is in the process of being built. Blondell Commons, that was a project that came before us, before the shelter. The difference between one being built before the other is because the Blondell Commons is going into the ground, and the shelter, they decided not to do that because the ground is so contaminated that it would take longer to build, and they wanted to build it sooner. So it's built on top of a slab, to my knowledge. So Rich and I were there. Matt Cruz from Community Board 10 was there. Councilmember Marmorato and Farias was there. I'm trying to think who else. The Coalition for the Homeless, they're the ones that will be operating the shelter. This is the first shelter they're building themselves from scratch. I forget how many other shelters they operate. I don't think it's a lot. I think it's only like 4. I think maybe Manhattan. I think they have one maybe in Community Board 5. But yeah, so it was a pretty nice facility. It was definitely still in the works. I mean, correct me, feel free to butt in at any point, Rich. I don't know if you were still there, or if you were there when we first got there and the alarm was going off, but they were still clearly in construction. There was no air conditioning, so it was pretty warm. And this is what, August, I think it was, maybe July.
Yeah.
And Let's see. So they had a green roof. If you're familiar with the city's green roof initiatives, trying to be more environmentally conscious, I did have a constituent reach out to me about metal detectors or something like that. And so I did ask about that. And the response I received was there will be a guard assigned to operate a magnetometer at the entrance, who also provides access to incoming residents and staff. But it was a nice facility. They are going to have a CAB, a community advisory board, or whatever they call it for homeless shelters. They are looking at creating that. I know they did have some residents in mind who've already expressed interest in the shelter. But I'm trying to think of anything else.
I mean, and they also have a flyer for employment at the facility, and they want to hire locally. They mentioned also the folks who are running the facility, the management. They have a bunch of these under their belt. So I was impressed with management in that regard. Yeah, and no,
They
look,
have
it did,
CCTV cameras that they'll have access to off-site at all times. I think on average, 4 to 5 people be on staff.
at all times. Yeah,
Yeah, at all times. It's an all
Yeah, once-
service facility.
How many beds?
As far as I know, they will have, I do think, at least that's what it was in the past. I forget if they mentioned that in terms of like having services on site for any of the needs of the shelter residents.
yeah. It's gonna be also like a healthcare facility in terms of they're gonna do primary care, mental health services, per what they told us.
It's like transition.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I think it's care for the coalition.
Coalition of
I think
Homes.
coalition.
I got
of
that.
Homes.
I got it already.
Okay. We took. Yeah, we'll confirm that. But also, we took pictures, so I'll send them out to Jeremy to send around. It was a nice facility in terms of what we saw so far. Everything's new, obviously.
You gonna find out how many units?
Yeah, we could double check that.
200
Yeah.
units?
200 single men shelter.
We'll confirm the beds of what they have built or what they're gonna build with.
And
the-
one more point, the reason that Community Board 10 was there is that the side where the building is in Board 11, but across the street is Community Board 10,
Mhm.
as well as the 2 council districts. The shelter itself is in the 13th council district, but across the street again is in the 18th council district.
Interesting. Yeah, and both council folks were there live, talking, asking questions. So
Any word on the popular homeless shelter?
I don't think so. We'll have updates, I think, for next meeting. I'll put that in the agenda for next.
Well, that's in my next year.
Okay, we'll get something for you.
Yeah, Rich sent me photos. I've not been able to do anything with them yet. I took photos myself. I don't know if your meeting's over, but I can try to pull them up and share them on the screen.
We just need to do committee chair elections. So after that, I think we're done.
Yeah,
So
I'll
you
try,
wanna
I'll try
pop-
to get the photos up in time
Okay.
before the meeting ends.
Okay. All right, that works. Update. Do you have any updates on popular, Jeremy, before you go away?
No, not at this time. I mean,
Okay.
I don't remember what the last update was. But I've definitely asked about Poplar. I think they're projected, I'll try to look for that too. I think it's sometime end of this year, or maybe next year.
September 2025.
Yeah,
And this
that
is
sounds about right.
shelter.
next year. Yeah.
next year. 12 months from now.
Okay. All right. So moving on. Anybody else last call for gallery session? Okay. None heard. Let's go into motions. I think the only motions we're gonna try to get resolved here are committee chairs election. So I'm just gonna open it up for discussion. Does anyone want to be chair? Okay. I mean, that's fine. I think we have to have we have to do motions and nominations. So does anyone nominate me?
I'll nominate Chase.
Okay, we need a second. Okay, now we not any opposition or abstentions?
Congratulations.
Thanks. All right, but I'll do this one too, just because if folks are interested. Does anyone want to be co-chair? I think these things run much easier if there's a co-chair, given my experience.
What does the coach?
It's like, it's two heads thinking at the same time, and it's easier.
Better handle it.
I think Juanita would be great.
I agree. I nominate Juanita. Anyone second? Anyone opposed? So moved. All right, Juanita, congratulations. Cool. We're done. We've been doing this for a while.
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
No, I don't.
All right. So, okay. I think that's it for motions. I think while Jeremy gets this up, does anyone else want to discuss, bring anything up before I move to old business, new business?
I'm ready when you are.
All right, we have an old business.
I have a piece of new business.
Go for it.
Okay. There is an empty lot at 2111 White Plains Road that has been sold for almost $8 million. It is zoned C4-4 on one side, which is White Plains Road. It's also borders Marin Place, which is R7-1. So that means that you could have up to a 12-story building on that site. The property is 126 feet and change on White Plains Road and 100 feet on Marin Place. Just letting the board know, watch out for it. Most likely you'll get a permit for construction there and to be aware of it.
I know what you're talking about.
I think back off of that. Was it probably about a year ago? I received an email. I was on the board. Jeremy should know about this. There was interest in somebody looking to buy that property to make it swimming pool.
A swimming?
Yeah. So I maybe you could check in with her to see if she bought the property. But I believe that the owner of that specific property was rest in peace, was the mother of the current White Plains Road bid director. So maybe you could reach out to him to see who may have bought it, because they might have that on record. To see who was managing it.
So, but for some context, that area was hit by a fire. There used to be a 99-cent store and a sneaker store. I grew up around this, so I know. They got hit by fire. They had to demolish it. They haven't done anything with it ever since. I think it's been about 4 years, maybe before COVID, not sure. But
The buyer's name was Robert Lumaj, Lumaj. Is that who you're thinking of, Malcolm?
Name's familiar, but it wouldn't hurt to reach out to the lady to see if she's attached to that. If not,
Seller was so far Realtor of Riverdale.
got it. Okay. We'll find out more. I mean, that's
I just want to make the board aware.
yeah, no, that's great. I mean, it's good to know. I mean, that's already congested over there. Next to the Planet Fitness, by the way. Okay. All right, thank you. Any other new business? I motion to adjourn. We're gonna see the pictures after. If you, I don't want to delay the meeting. Can we? It's up to you guys. You want? Okay, so let's watch the pictures. Go.
Anybody wants to leave, they can leave.
Cool.
Yeah, I think right here, but
That's good.
so this is the very top. That's where I started taking pictures. You can see in here, that's Blondell Commons. So yeah, that's better. So yeah, nobody can just jump out there, right? They have these, you could probably break that if you really want to and jump out. But this is Blondell Commons, so this is looking south. That's the 6th line. So this is Westchester Square on the right. You can see this is the street level. Let me see if I get a better photo. Yeah, so here's a better photo. So this is Blondell. So this is one of the maybe secondary roofs. So it's a green roof, right? So it has vegetation there. It's to help with rain, help with the sun, environmentally. You can see they're digging down below street level. So that's what I was talking about earlier, that this is why this project, aside from the project being massively high, it is because I've been told, and then Ted or anybody else can correct me if I'm wrong, most of the land in the Bronx, the soil is contaminated. But when you're going to dig down deep like this, the problem with this site is it used to be a car repair shop. So I don't know if they had that problem there, but either way, it's taking longer. So you can see this nice little courtyard area. It's fenced in. Too far. A little bit better photo. So that's the council member Mamrado Farias. It's Nancy from her office. That's George. She's caring for the homeless, the face of the primary contact I dealt with. Matt from Board 10. That's Jocelyn from DSS. I forget who else was there exactly.
Jeremy, do we know like what environmental studies were done for that?
I would have to look. But again, the biggest thing is that they decided not to. They built on top of the slab. So this is the MTA yard in the back. If you're familiar with this area, again, that's the 6th train. And all these windows. One thing I noticed too, see these like bars? I think it's because they're like tinted maybe on the outside, or there's sun reflecting. I think that's why I thought that was really unusual because I noticed they're all like that. You see it from the inside, not necessarily from the outside. I'll show you an outside photo soon. Really like Blondell Commons. This is the 2nd floor. So they had a desk on each floor. I think there were 3 floors maybe. So they have, as far as I remember, they had a floor on each, or like a reception area, or a security
visitor's
person, or whatever.
desk.
Yeah, visitor's desk. This is, I'm pretty sure this is yes, this is the 2nd floor. You can see it says 2. Those are dryers, left is washers. Just I was showing more of that. This is actually not the front of the building. This is the side of the building. There's actually a parking lot here. You should have taken a picture of that. They can hold probably 16 or more vehicles. I know everybody that was there comfortably fit. So here's bunks, these outlets. Everybody has a wall locker. Actually, so it's only a very small locker. So this side gets that, this side gets that with a lock.
And the driver, you can match.
You drive it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. So here's the showers, and the stalls. Remember, this is all men's facility. That's why you see the urinals. What about the bathrooms? And you can see it's still a work in progress. That's the washing machines. I'm pretty sure those are dryers. That's it from my photos. Let me pull up Rich's. They're probably not too different.
No, it's probably the same.
Similar.
Like that's just just took a picture in the back of the room. So the bunk beds, everything has an outlet.
Yeah, I can do an idea of the size.
I don't know how many, because we saw 1 floor bunk beds.
So you can see the wall locker's about 6 foot, or a little bit more than me.
And that's the outside, right?
Yeah, so that's pretty nice.
It's really nice. Yeah. Everything's enclosed.
Do they go there in the after
I think so. Yeah,
After hours.
not after hours though. No, they have a curfew.
So
Yeah.
do we know the curfew? Like what time might they come in?
We can find out.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I
I don't
think
know off the top of my head.
for me that's important. 'Cause, again, Papa is the one that's in my backyard. So
Yeah.
I want to know like around what time to expect
And your names again?
Alexis.
Alexis.
I'm on Radcliffe. On the end of Radcliffe.
But hopefully the Popular
Yeah,
has
that's
a
a good
community
reach.
advisory board. That's very important. They kept pitching that at this meeting. They're very excited to get folks from the community involved. So hopefully this shelter does have that.
Rent a shelter?
That was a shelter, yeah.
Blondell Avenue Shelter.
Okay. So Blondell has it right there, Blondell, next to Waters Place?
So, yeah, so it's it's very close to Westchester Ave. It's a few blocks up from that, maybe 2-3
Where Bronx
blocks.
State used to be? Or is?
No. So Bronx State is on Waters Place. This is on
Yeah.
Blondell. It's the other side of the MTA.
Yeah.
And this is concerning who does it house.
Homeless men,
I see.
single men.
So with the homeless men,
Unmarried,
do we
right?
know if they have mental health?
I mean, they're just saying, I'm not sure. It's for them.
Substance?
Yeah, what if they have?
So they,
What's their
I mean-
so remember, homeless people come in with a wide range of issues.
Yeah.
This is purely for men,
From the bottom?
single men. I mean, look, they could be married, they could have children, but only they are allowed to stay there. In terms of visitors, I don't know what that's like, but we can always inquire.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll send around the presentation that Care for the Homeless sent around in terms of what what the population is going to be. They sent that around, but we can send it around again.
How many people can in the house?
Now, we're gonna figure that out.
Approximately 200,
Yeah.
That's good.
but we can find out specifically.
Good. Yes.
Will it be organized and police it organized?
Yeah, well, they have, as I said earlier, before you arrived, they have a Meg, I don't know how you pronounce it.
Metal detector.
They do have,
Yeah, metal
they
detector.
do have a wand, which they will check. They'll screen, they don't want to have anything.
They will check the
Happening
people
with
coming in. They will check the people coming in.
I
Okay.
see.
And possibly
That's part-
security?
Very good.
Yeah, because there's a lot of armed people out there.
So thank you, Jeremy. That was great.
I mean, one person, a member of the public is like, are they metal detectors? Oh, they could walk into Walgreens with a gun. It's like anybody can walk into Walgreens with a gun. Like,
Very good.
So you folks arrived a little late. Our meeting's
Yeah.
done. We're finished. But what I'll do is I'll give you 2 minutes to bring up any. No.
Do you have any
If
questions?
you have any questions.
Okay.
Because the catch up is online.
Thank you. My
What else?
son,
Oh.
my son
Hold on.
came.
Oh.
I'm having an issue with my house.
Okay.
And my son met with my landlord. I have trouble with the
With
law,
everything.
everything.
Our whole
I'm
apartment
paying
is almost a slum.
$1,700 and it's a slum.
Okay.
It's an absolute. It's my, when I do it, oh, she's a nice 76-year-old lady. So I said, well, let me get my son here
Yeah.
and let him talk to him.
About high rents.
Yeah.
And
What's
I'm
up with
paying
these high
high
rents?
rent.
She's paying 1,700 for what would be really considered a slum.
Mm.
You won't believe how what a wreck her apartment is.
And I live
What's
right
going on with
around
the
here.
rents?
And I live right on Colton Avenue.
Do you live in a private home?
Yes.
So.
But the reason being, when I was living in this apartment, was I have 2 cats. And my cats are so sweet. They don't do anything.
It's the only thing she could get because of our cats.
Because I should, and someone said, what, some man who was a realtor said, why the hell did you say you have cats? I said, because I went to Catholic school and they always told you to be truthful.
Is that why? Is that part of why they raised your rent?
That's why I'm like,
They
That-
abuse her. They abuse her
they abuse
financially
me.
and
Yeah,
Do you have a lease?
yes.
it's about to end.
that
I'm not her son. We're just very good friends. Her son right now is in the apartment talking to the man who
that's
she's been waiting for years to help fix the apartment, and he vowed that he would fix the whole
Hopefully your
apartment.
son can get some resolution and
Yeah,
speaking to the landlord privately.
oh,
It's a private home, so it's a little different, but they should be giving you some basic services.
Yeah, I
or
agree.
at least can someone suggest an apartment that will say to take a lady with 2 cats? And these cats are so sweet and quiet. They don't scratch anything. What do they do? Eat
yeah.
and
What's availability around here? I don't know about the
Well, we
availability.
just went over that, right? Availability for affordable.
So I think,
Yeah.
let's get your
Yeah, it's
contact
very low.
information, your name, your number, your email. Yeah, put that in there. What we'll do is we'll
I
send
did it
you.
yesterday. too.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Didn't I do that already? I did.
No, no.
that.
So what I would suggest that you do, especially in those situations, you can contact the Department of Aging. Right?
Aging?
Department,
Yeah.
Department of Aging.
We'll send this to you in the email.
They have,
Okay.
they have certain resources for.
Storm Surge 444.
Oh, my,
I'll
not
take that.
on my son.
The
About your
Department,
son?
Department of
My
Aging.
son has, I would like for him to get this for
The information.
The information or the an apartment?
both.
You want to move out a piece, girl.
Oh, no.
So
Sorry.
what we'll do
That's okay.
is, so we'll do is we'll send you a bunch of information.
Um,
I completely understand, and we've seen this a bunch of times before. You may need to go to housing court. You may need to get a free lawyer to defend your rights. You have rights. Everyone has a right as a tenant in New York City to not have rates, especially for a person of which a young lady as yourself, but someone being abused against in this manner. So you have rights. Go ahead.
It's very expensive.
I mean, yeah, they shouldn't be
Uh,
raised. Do you have a lease? You said
Yeah, it's about to run out.
yeah, it's about 10.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the Department of
That's
Aging-
why he's working so hard to keep within the time frame. Because with a lease, you got more rights, you got more power.
And we have a. Go ahead. You want to say
Yeah,
something?
with the Department of Aging, they have caseworkers that will work with you.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Especially if you're on a fixed income.
Yeah.
They can possibly get.
Department of
Aging.
Yeah.
That's a whole. That's a.
I'm not that poor.
Oh, no, that does mean I'd be
That's
poor.
what.
No,
Regardless,
Don't say that when you go.
Yeah. Don't say that way.
Don't say that.
yeah.
You know, I was lucky I had dinner.
Regardless or not, they
Okay.
can provide you with these services to help you get into certain complexes, product complexes, to provide those resources.
Yeah.
So I would suggest contacting them.
And we have a person on the board. Her name is Hazel. She works for NIDC. She can write you a letter of support against your landlord, saying, hey, because this is the kind of cases they take care of. We'll also ask around in the board itself to see how we can support you. All right. So do me a favor, leave me your name, number, and email so we can send you all this information. It's important to us. All right.
I'm also a housing attorney. So.
There we go. There we go.
I like something that's
You
not-
didn't want to-
Logan has-
So there we go. We're gonna end the meeting soon. So talk to him after we end the meeting and see.
See,
I haven't written down my email.
You have it?
Yeah, where can I put it?
Yeah.
I owned my own, I had a family house. And then my cousins decided that they wanted to sell it
Yeah.
and kick me out.
Okay. No, that's not good. Yeah, we're still recording. So he's gonna talk to you after the meeting. You have your email. We'll send you a bunch of information. Whenever you have a problem, pop on and we'll talk to you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. I'm gonna motion to adjourn the meeting. Anyone seconds?
Second.
All those opposed? Meeting adjourned at 7:31. Thank you, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great night.
Cheers.
Thank you for inviting me.